Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the call for tonight. If you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. And I think Laurel is here also.
Good evening. I'm here.
All right. Okay, so I can hear you, Laurel. So I assume that that folks can hear me also. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of go ahead and turn on my slide presentation here and switch over to sharing my screen. Okay, so this is really a presentation that I adapted from one that Laurel and I did for our our private label rights video customers, and most of what we do, we are talking to marketers in particular, and so what we're going to be doing over the next I don't know, maybe year and a half is really adapting a lot of that for people that I call civilians or people who are not necessarily immersed in selling to other marketers, but who have a more general audience. And so, and some of the things that we had to really adapt, just are either too intense or there are things that just wouldn't make sense. So we have adapted and we are adapting a lot of our content, for for you. And hopefully this will give you more of an insight on things that you can be doing, to strengthen your marketing efforts. And so we're going to be talking about email marketing today. And email marketing is probably going to be probably the I'd say your lifeline going forward. And the funny thing about email is that it's been predicted to be, someone's always predicting the end of it. And as long as people have predicted the end of it, the end never came. It seemed as if, when Messenger started to be more of a thing that people were using, people predicted, okay, people are not going to use email anymore. And actually, what has happened is people have increased their email usage, probably because, social media can be such a distraction, right? And so, whatever you're doing, I think that you can benefit by mastering and just kind of understanding and really doing on a regular basis, the kinds of things that, we've been talking about here when it comes to email. And so what I want to do first, since this is really a core principle, is I'm just going to briefly just review some things that we talked about last week. I'm not going to spend a lot here. And you'll notice I have a basketball hoop or image there. And one of the things that, I always talk about when it comes to fundamentals is that, Michael Jordan, for all of his competitive drive and for all of his, attention to detail and winning, what really made Michael Jordan, if you talk to other players or you listen to other players, I don't know if you'd be talking to other basketball players, but what players said about Michael Jordan is that he was the most fundamentally sound player that they had played with. Though, in other words, all of the great things and all of the all of the fancy things and all of the incredible things that he was able to do really were the result of not just his competitive drive, and there are probably some people who are as competitive as Michael Jordan. However, they probably may not have been as fundamentally sound. And so, whatever you're doing when it comes to business or marketing, if you can be fundamentally sound, you can outdistance someone who is a better marketer than you. You can outdistance someone who has better stuff. You can outdistance someone who is, who's a better salesperson. If you can bring the right people to what it is that you have and you are sound in your fundamentals, you are still going to on a regular basis, you're gonna profit in your business and anything else that you're doing. And so I think it was last Saturday, we just talked about some basic principles. And what we're going to be talking about is one of those principles tonight. And we talked about the fact that everything you do, you want to have a USP. That's your product line and that's your business. Your business ought to have a reason for me to do business with you over and above doing nothing and over and above doing business with everybody else. And we'll talk about that later on in the year. Are you upselling or cross-selling? In other words, if I buy something, if I buy a basic service, whatever your basic service is or your basic product, is there a way for you to add on to that for you to add on to it so that I have to pay you more and that you can add more value to me. One of the things that is a fundamental, which we will be talking about tonight, is keeping in contact with a customer list. All of these things, when you break these things down, some businesses are just good at one thing, and that one thing will carry them. If you can be good at all of these things, you will increase your business. Everything that we're going to be talking about with these fundamental things, whenever we talk about them, you can go and implement them immediately. And you can probably, and obviously I can't guarantee anything, right? But if you implement these things in your business, you will see results, you will see activity. The fourth thing, are you finding alliances? In other words, are you partnering with people who are not your direct competition, but have your customer base? Are you using traditional media? Very interesting thing that I've seen recently, that, both Google and Facebook advertising are using magazine ads and television ads in order to promote their business, right? So, I mean, you would think that if you could reach all your customers, that all the customers that you need, I mean, you'd be able to use your medium. But in fact, Google and Facebook advertising, they're using television. And so that says something, that television and radio and newspapers and magazines and mail and traditional media is by no means, right, is by no means is it out of the water. And so if you can make the most of any of those things, you are going to be, again, one of those people that you'll have a lifeline. You'll be weathering the storm. Are you working in your community, right? Does your community know your brand? Are you using direct marketing principles? And these are things that we'll talk about later on. Are you marketing your business on the internet? And one of the things I'll tell you by that is that you'll notice here that I've got 8 things here, and that marketing your business on the internet is one of those 8 things. So marketing your business on the internet is not everything. And in fact, I mean, if you're doing these 8 things, everything you're doing on the internet will matter more. Everything that you're doing off the internet will matter more. Everything that you're doing in your business will matter more if you are doing these 8 things, if you're doing them systematically, and if you're doing them consistently. What you'll find is that you will not lack for activity, right? And these are things that you can do. I think that the probably the most important thing about these things is these things don't cost you anything to do. Everything that you see here that we'll be talking about, and indeed anything that, even what we'll be talking about tonight, doesn't cost you anything. Now, email cost you what it costs you to get an email service provider, which is about $20. But basically, none of these things are going to cost you any money. And all of these things will increase your business exponentially if you do them systematically. Okay, so let's get on to one of the fundamentals tonight. I'm going to talk about one of the fundamentals and one aspect. And again, if you can do this one thing and you can master this one thing and you can get it into your business, you will see an increase in activity. Okay, so just a little bit about Laurel and I. Um, we started creating information marketing tutorials since 2013. We primarily serve online business owners. We sell what are called private label rates videos, and we do that at the plrshow.com. We're kind of like wholesalers of videos. They buy our videos at wholesale and sell them at retail, and we basically sell to other sellers, right? But everything that we do and everything that we teach you, we do these things in our business every day, and we go through these things at an intensity level of 10 times, because we're selling to other marketers, we're selling to other sellers. Everything that we're teaching you is universal, right? It's going to work in every business, it's going to work at all times, and it's going to be evergreen. Now, again, maybe in 10 years email will not be a thing, but email has been here for 10 years. It continues to stay here. And if you understand the basic principle, whatever comes next, you'll be able to do it. Right now, contacting your database with email. Um, this is something that everybody's got to do, and you have to get good at it. And it doesn't matter what your business is. And you may be saying that right now, you know what, I don't have a database of people in my email list. Probably the number one thing you've got to do when you get off of this call is you've got to get the email addresses of the people that you have done business with, and you've got to get their permission in order to talk to them by email. right? More than anything else. And if you do that one fundamental, that will probably carry you more than anything else. Probably every one of the 8 principles we're going to be talking about really centers around this one thing. And that's why we're starting here first. And last week, we talked about podcasting. One of the things that you must do as a podcaster is you must manage your email marketing list. I call it an email marketing list because it's everything. If you have a customer list, you can start your business over from any place at any time. If you have to move to another part of your region, you can start your business over if you were active with your email marketing list. If you don't, you're basically starting over from scratch. If you have a customer list of people that you can contact and they know you and they open your emails, you are going to be in good shape in terms of being able to generate profit without having to advertise, without having to spend money on Facebook ads, without having to spend money on YouTube ads, without even in some cases without even having to go and leave your house. Right? This is something that you must master. Um, I I have seen that people have become more dependent, on mediums. So, we talk about YouTube here, and there is an entire business model around YouTube. So, in other words, I get people to view my videos. But what you have found, and maybe you have heard this, and I have heard this, that YouTube creators are really struggling. You want to know why they're struggling? Because they don't necessarily have people that they can sell to. And if for whatever reason YouTube throttles their videos and YouTube decides to put them out of business, let's say, or take their videos down for some reason, then they really don't have a way of contacting those subscribers. In other words, every subscriber that comes to YouTube for a YouTube creator is YouTube's customer, unless you make it your customer. And so whatever medium you're using, it's not about the medium, it's about your list. You must build your list. Social media platforms like Facebook, lots of people have huge fan pages and huge followings, on Instagram and other places. The question is, do they have those people in a way that they can contact them outside of the noise, outside of the distraction, outside of everything else? Because if they don't, those are not their customers. Those are not their followers. Those are Instagram's followers. Those are Facebook's followers. Those are Facebook's customers. These are not your customers until they're yours. And even if you're not on a platform, if you have if you have a service that you are doing and you have done business with someone and you cannot contact those people whenever you want to by sending out an email, then they are not your customers. They may have been your customers in the past, but you have no way of telling them, you know what, I have excess capacity, I have a sale. I have a I have a I have a class I'm doing tonight. I have a special guest that I'm bringing in tonight. It's going to cost you $25, but it's going to be fantastic. If you can't contact your people and tell them about this, then really number one thing you must do is you must begin building your email list and your email database. Advertising is always going to be a direct cost to your bottom line, until you know exactly what people are going to buy from you and why they're going to buy. And so that means then that until you know what people are going to buy, should you be spending money on advertising? Probably not. And so that's what happens to people, especially small businesses. They start spending money on advertising. They start spending money on things that they don't really understand without doing these fundamentals. And so whatever you're doing, this is one thing that is a fundamental that you and I must do. I must do it in my online business. You must do it in your online or offline business. If you're going to build a new brand, and you are going to build that brand based on something you're going to sell 100% online, the number one thing you must be doing over and above posting on Facebook, over and above posting on Instagram, over and above everything else, is you have to try to get these people to subscribe to your email marketing list. Because if not, you do not have them, I'd say, distraction free. Now, having an email list about more than coupons, right? It's about you might think, well, I tend to, if you think about email, just my, let's say, Amazon or Walmart, you want to think about it more broadly. It's about more than sending out coupons. You should be using your database to build relationships with an affordable, repeatable system. You can get started with most email marketing systems for about $20 or $25 a month, 30 at the most. And basically, what you're trying to do when you send out an email every day is build a relationship. And again, I'm going to get to that here at the end. Now, again, I want to say this at the outset. If I don't, if I cannot finish, I'm not gonna keep you here for an hour. But if I can't finish, I'm gonna skip to the end, and I'll finish up the rest next week. It looks like I've got quite a bit here, and I may not finish. But that being said, let's go forward. Um, e- Email is an affordable, repeatable way for you to build a relationship. That is what you are doing. It's the most flexible system, and it gives you the most control. So you have total control over the emails you send. It's also independent from decision making of social media. In other words, you may have noticed that I have not had it to happen to me yet, but apparently a lot of people have said that Facebook decided to change the way they, the way they, the appearance of the site. Right. And some people are complaining about that. Well, that's what Facebook can do. It's their platform. But what you and I have to do is we have to be free of their decision making. We can't wait on something to happen to us because Facebook decides they want to change something. It's the only medium. Now there is a medium that gives you more control. That's snail mail, right? And probably you and I should be building a snail mail list too. But you want to start by building an email list. Um, you and I really should be graduating toward that snail mail list. But we'll talk about that later on in the year. But you want to use email to keep in touch with number one, your existing customers, and number two, your potential customers. Why? Why do I say that? Listen, not everybody who comes and meets you for the very first time or comes to your email to your website or who sees you, they're not ready to spend money with you right away. So what do? Right? Do you just assume, they don't want to do business with me? They don't want to, that must be one that I lost. Well, maybe and maybe not. Maybe, a lot of people have, they're trying to feel you out. Maybe, at this point in time, money's a little bit tight, or maybe they're just really busy. They're too busy to do business with you right now. But they would do business with you if you contact them in another month. But if you're not on their radar, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go and search for somebody else just like you, often in the same product category. This is and listen, this is really the easiest, most reliable form of traffic. If you've been into marketing and internet marketing any length of time, people will talk about traffic, but there is no more reliable form of traffic and more profitable form of buyers that you'll ever have. If somebody agrees to allow you to email, making a sale will always be less burdensome. It'll always be less burdensome than you going out and trying to wrestle them off social media, or you trying to get them to dive off of your YouTube video, or you trying to get them to take your business card and do something with it other than put it in a drawer with 10,000 other business cards. It is the most reliable form of traffic that you will ever have until something else takes its place. And of course, you'll be selling from relationship. Right? That's really the beauty of this. When you understand and you learn how to be yourself in email, you will not be selling in a used car salesman kind of way. You'll be selling from a relationship. Right? Now, will everybody like that relationship? No. But when you're in contact with people, you're going to have a significant number of people who will want to hear from you. And probably the thing that always freaks people out the most, right, is that they find out that people did want to hear from them, right? They think, oh well, I started emailing and people started responding to me, and it always amazes people when really it should not amaze you. There are so many people that were your customers. There's so many people that were your prospects. There's so many people that met you that would love to hear from you. But until you start reaching out to them, they are not going to be doing business with you. Okay, so what you got to do first is you got to get a provider, and probably even before this, you're going to have to get permission from your people in order to get these people into your provider. But let me kind of go forward here. Um, you can use any email service provider to get started. So don't get caught into the weeds of trying to find which one is right. Just get one, right? Get one you find is the most affordable. I use Aweber and I use GetResponse, right? I use GetResponse for Extreme Business Makeover. I use Aweber for the people that that purchase our private label rights videos. You can use Constant Contact. I think they're about $20. You can use Mailchimp. Mailchimp's free. I think for the first 2,000 subscribers. Now, that don't go running out and getting Mailchimp because it's free. um, you know, um, um, you know, the $20 you spend sometimes for an autoresponder that you know how to use, because in some ways Mailchimp I've just found them to be a little complicated, right? And especially the free version is limited in some ways that you end up having and wanting to pay anyway. So you might as well just get the one you want. There's one called Active Campaign, ConvertKit. There are tons of them, right? Just pick one. Pick one that's the easiest one for you to work with. Get the one you're most comfortable with and start building your list. Eventually, what you got to do, and this is what we talked about here, you've got to go and get your existing customers and your prospects and tell them, hey, you know what? I'm starting a newsletter, and I want to, I want to make sure that you and I are keeping in touch with each other. However you word it, right? um, Now, but before you start doing that, I do want to kind of give you some insight on how you're going to go about this. So before you start emailing and before you go get people, make sure you understand these things we're going to be talking about here tonight. Okay, so get a personality. What do I mean by that? Um, you're going to need to determine your persona as you develop your relationship in print. That's what you're doing. You are relating to people in print. You are writing to them, hopefully on a daily basis, right? Now, if you're if you're watching this, you may be with us at Extreme Business Makeover. We haven't been writing you lately. We've been semi daily, but we will be, right? Um, now, what you're selling in every single email, and hear me on this, it's not the offer that's important. You know what you're doing in your email every day? Every single day you write to people, you're selling yourself, right? You're selling yourself. And basically what you're telling people is, hey, you know what? This is who I am. This is my business. And what happens is when you just start to relate to people in an everyday kind of way, people start to make connections with you in different places of your life, in different places of your personality. I know some people who write about their family every day, and they make an offer every day. And what happens is, when people start to make purchases, they sometimes make purchases because that person, hey, that person is just like me. I relate to them. Every day in your email, right? Regardless of what you're offering, regardless of your service, regardless of your product, regardless of what you say in that email, you are selling you to me, right? If I'm reading your email every day, you are telling me that you are worth business. You are worth me doing business with you. You do that the very best by being yourself in your email, right? You do that by being yourself. What matters isn't that you're trying to be somebody that you're not. What really matters more than anything is being consistent every single day. Right now, is everybody going to read your email every day? Probably not. Right? Some people are going to unsubscribe? Probably not. But what's important is that you are consistent. What's important is that you are contextual. So in other words, you shouldn't be writing about things that are just out there. There should be context. There should be a reason, and it should have some connection with the reason that the person got on your list in the first place. It should be clear. So in other words, until the people on your subscriber list understand what it is you're doing, you want to be careful about introducing multiple things, right? Try to introduce one thing. Now, if you were to grab our email subscriber list for our private label rights video customers, we sometimes introduce multiple things, but it took 10 years to do that. And I'm not even sure how skilled we are at it, but it's just being consistent at it, right? So I would say that when you're starting out, for the first 10 years, be clear and try to do one thing in an email and be concrete. In other words, it should be something tangible. It should be something I can walk away with. Even if what you're doing is not telling me to buy something, make sure that when I walk away with your email, there is something that I got, right? Something that you taught me. Now, you're going to have to get some thick skin. I'm going to warn you. Having an email list is going to be the most profitable thing you can do. But you're going to need thick skin, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, right now, I say it's the most profitable because um, you should be keeping in touch with your existing customers. They love to buy more things from you. And in fact, you know what they're doing right now? They're buying things from other people who are selling them things. And it's not because they're better than you. It's probably because they're more consistently in the ear of your customer. If you are a podcaster or you are a video creator, people are selling things to your listeners. They're buying things from those people. People are selling things to your social media followers. It is a fact. And it's, again, it's not because they're better than you. It's not because you're not worth people's time. It's really only because you're not in their face. And until you're in their face, you won't have the opportunity to increase the profits of your business. Remember why I say email is great. How much you're going to spend on email? $20 a month, right? That's a whole lot less than any money you're going to spend on advertising. Now, there's going to always be a vocal segment that will not appreciate getting email, especially when you're doing a promotion. And Laurel had an experience with this in a seminar that we both participated in, and she actually attended on our behalf. Laurel, if you, are you around? Can you talk about that?
Sure. I attended a virtual seminar, and the information that was presented, I think we were paid customers, all of us who were part of, or we were paid customers, and we had purchased a product, we had signed up, to do the seminar. We had been, the person had been communicating with us for a while via email, but as we had purchased this product, the marketer, the individual doing the selling, would email us regularly and contact us regularly with offers. And some of the people who had even paid and paid a lot of money to be a customer of this particular individual were upset that they were continuing to get emails, but the rest of us understood it's the nature of the beast, that this is what this person does. Just like you go to walmart.com and you say, yeah, you can send me emails, and Walmart emails you every day. So you as a marketer, whatever it is that you do, will contact your people every day. Now, the difference between you and Walmart is that you will be typically providing information from time to time free of charge, but the idea is that you have something of value to offer, and you are going to, or you might be in the position where you're offering it regularly, and you should anticipate that some people are not going to be happy with that, and they're going to tell you about it, and they might, make a public stink of it. But it is the nature of the beast. You should expect that if you've got something good to offer and you're asking money for it, that somebody is going to take it upon themselves to perhaps let others know that they don't appreciate it. It is the nature of the beast. It is what you should expect. And if you, the term that the kids use now is haters, if you don't have haters, you should wonder if you're actually doing anything of value. But it is very typical behavior.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, you're going to have to anticipate this, right? But please do not leave money on the table because of this, right? Sometimes this will be your lifeline if you can establish this, and everybody can. And here's the key to this, right? If somebody doesn't want to receive the email, they can unsubscribe, right? And the other thing, what I'm going to tell you about people unsubscribing, please do not take it personally. A long time ago, there's a guy who was a trainer, And he said, you know what? When people unsubscribe and they want to tell you the reasons, don't read it. Right. And that almost might sound contrary. You might say, well, yeah, I want to read it because I want feedback. Actually, if you want to ruin your day, read the reason why people unsubscribe, because really it doesn't matter, because all you want to be concerned about the people who stay subscribed. And it's not because you don't care about them. It's just that you're trying to build a relationship with the people that have either decided to be a prospect of your business or people who are your customers. And if you are not if you are not writing every day, more than likely someone else is building that relationship with your customers. Okay, and many of the same people, even if they unsubscribe, and I found this to be the case, even when someone subscribes to you, it just could be, I don't want to get emails, but I do want to buy from this person. They like you, they like your stuff, and they will go and they will find another way to buy from you just without having to get email from you. And if that's what they want to do, then that's perfect, right? But still, you and I need to be in contact with each other, with with these folks, on a daily basis. Now we're about, I think I'm about maybe about 40% of the way through. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to kind of skip to the end. We're going to finish this up next week. What I want to do here is I just kind of want to make sure that I speak a little bit to what we're going to be doing going forward. And I want to talk a little bit about Extreme Business Makeover, and this is going to be our training, our training membership. And we're going to be ready with Extreme Business Makeover next week. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. What is it? It's really business coaching for your online and offline business. And basically, you're going to get, as I said, we've probably done in 2020. We've done at least 8 courses. You're going to get access to all of those. And then on a monthly basis, we're going to add another course to it. So all of our technical courses, you will get access to in a member area. You will also have on Tuesday, we will be doing private strategy sessions. So in other words, we were going to start doing Tuesday workshops, and those have always been paid workshops for us. And we were going to do them free for a while, but we thought, well, maybe not. And so next week, what we're going to do is we're going to start those workshops. They're going to be on Tuesday. It's going to be a smaller group, and we're going to be working on a specific topic. Basically, one of the things we're going to be doing is we're scratching the surface into these marketing fundamentals right now. So we're going to do a deep dive into developing a USP. We are going to do a deep dive into showing you both the technical and the strategic way of being able to upsell and cross-sell. We are going to show you how to develop an online relationship so that you can have people that refer you business without you having to do any work. So this is what we're going to be doing, in Extreme Business Makeover. And anytime that you have a support request, we will move you to the front of the line, right? And so you'll always be at the front of the line when we do our support requests. You'll get access to all of our business summits, and you'll see coming up later on, we're going to be doing some business summits with some of the people here in our local area. If you're here locally, you will be able to get free access to those summits. And then, as you know, we do a Q&A on Saturday. And what I like to do during those Q&As is take questions. But for the people who are part of Extreme Business Makeover, it'll be your questions that I'll be answering, right? So that'll be what Extreme Business Makeover will be about, and we will give you the opportunity of joining with us next week in our Thursday workshop. So now this Tuesday, what I'm going to be doing, since we're not quite ready with Xtreme, I'm going to be doing a branding session, which is going to be a bonus with our PLR customers. If you were signed up at extremebusinessmakeover.com, I will give you access to that Tuesday session, right? So it's actually going to be a bonus training I'm going to be doing with the folks that when I say bonus, and I guess we'll have a chance to talk about what this means, is that in some cases when they purchase something, I will give them a bonus training of some kind that they can use, and that's what I'll be doing with them on Tuesday, and I'm going to invite you to be there also. So all you need to do is just contact me in support at the plrshow.com. I'm sorry, support at gainmindshare.com, and I will happily give you access to the training. Okay, so any questions on anything that we talked about? Are there any questions on uh, uh, email marketing? So please don't feel shy. Okay. Please write in any questions that you might have. Any questions? Hey, Janine. Hey, good to see you. Okay, so let's see. Joanne's question um, is it necessary to use some other email provider other than that bundled on your laptop? Yes. And the reason that you need to use an email service provider is because um, if you send that email from Gmail or you send that email from Hotmail, um, and you start to send emails to, let's say, uh, you know, I'm going to say at least 20, 25 people, then the email service providers start to say, you know what, this really looks like spam. And so they'll throttle your email, and they will then put your email, not only will they put your email in spam, but what they will also do is they will block your email. And so an autoresponder and an email service provider, what it does is it has in it, you'll see where people can unsubscribe there at the bottom of an email. It'll have something that in the coding where something like Gmail or Hotmail, it'll have something so that people will know, yeah, it's a commercial email, but we should let it through, even though you're trying to email lots of people at the same time. Okay, that's actually a great question. It's a great question. So yes, you should, and you should use a service. If you want to start with a free service to kind of get your feet wet, you can use Mailchimp.com. They're free for the first 2,000 subscribers. Right now, the thing that I'll say about Mailchimp is they can be a little limited in what they offer. But I do know that um, Laura, if I'm not certain, our church uses Mailchimp, right? I think they do.
I think
So
yeah.
yeah, so it does work, and I think that if you started with them just to kind of get your feet wet and used to the process, then yeah, you can do it that way. Okay, say it's a great question. Any other questions? Laura, I don't know if you can see the questions. Janine says hi.
Hi.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, that's fantastic. We are too, definitely too, Joanna. We're looking forward to putting it on. Um, Probably the thing that made the biggest difference for I have to speak to me now. Laura was formerly sales trained, um, having done Mary Kay and probably cut her teeth some other ways. Um, None of the online marketing stuff. It was all kind of in bits and pieces until I really got a hold of the system. And when I call it a system, I don't like calling it a system like it's a secret. Um, Understanding unique selling proposition, understanding um, upselling and cross-selling, understanding how to build a list, understanding how to build a marketing alliance. These are the things that make a difference beyond everything, right? And so these are the things that once you understand how these fundamentals work, everything else you do will really catapult, your marketing. So we're excited to teach. We're excited to teach those fundamentals. All right. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you very much for huddling up with us here. Appreciate you all being here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.
Good night.